Welcome to the Get Going podcast. I'm Ash.
And I'm Ethan, and we're here to help you forget everything you've learned about the fitness industry.
Alright, Ethan, I wanted to talk a little bit about people that are getting into the gym for the first time, or they're getting into fitness for the first time, and some of the most common mistakes that they make when they get in there. You know what I mean? So I know a couple of ones already. So some girls
You probably did some.
I definitely did some. I was definitely one of those guys that went in there and did bicep day, and then I did chest day, and then I did bicep day and chest day, and never hit legs.
Yeah.
Nice. And a few females that I've talked to just go in there looking for weight loss, and they just hit the treadie for an hour. So let's talk a little bit about why that probably won't work in the long term, and what some things are that they could do to kind of change that and streamline it a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing I wish I did when I first got started was see a PT. And I remember,
it's true.
When I was 14 and Mum was yelling at me to see someone because she reckons I had no idea what I was doing, but I was headstrong and said I knew everything.
Obviously.
And now I have discs.
You still know
place. Yeah. But it's just seeking that external advice early on is such a good tool.
I know what I did when I first went to the gym for the first time is I looked around the gym and I was watching everyone else do whatever they were doing, and I just copy it. You know what I mean? 100%. I just feel like, that guy's doing tricep pull downs. I might as well just do some tricep pull downs. There was no programming or anything like that. I just went in there with no idea.
Yeah, what's the first thing that I reckon you're probably the same? The first thing you do is you jump on Google and you go, how to put on muscle. Right? Then you get on bodybuilding.com
and rep ranges,
and they tell you the rep ranges, they tell you the days that you should split up your routine. Yeah. Little to your understanding, that routine is probably based for someone who's been training for the last 8 years. Yeah. So you're going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, splitting up arms, legs.
Or you'll talk to a mate that's been doing gym for 6 months, who's done the same thing, he's gone through it.
For some random reason, everyone when they first get started, especially guys, will split up muscle groups per muscle group. It blows my mind.
Does it?
I was exactly the same.
It, splits it. Yeah, me too.
But, it doesn't make any sense because...
And they always just go back and buys or something like that, and then the next day, and then they'll leave 2 days and they'll hit maybe legs, probably not, because most people just want to...
They'll hit chest and biceps 3 days a week, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But the thing is me now, I train legs 3 to 5 times a week.
And I actually see mass gain
results
in your
my
upper body.
Yeah, because you're overtraining your upper body. But also, legs are the foundation of your powerhouse. They're so important. But, I think the reason we do that is because we focus on the muscles we want to increase, right? Yeah. But little to your understanding, you don't look that good when you've got huge biceps and a massive chest and tiny legs, small back and small waist.
No. All right, so going back to getting into the gym. If you haven't done it before, you're probably going to think about split rotating it. Don't. Don't go in there and do back and buys.
You're not advanced enough. You're not advanced enough to break down your muscle groups like that.
You're not going to be. Your muscles are going to be fatigued. They're going to be ruined after the session.
In 8 days before you're training.
Exactly. You're going to need 2 or 3 days if you're just starting out before you can actually train that muscle again.
So full bodies.
Full bodies.
Someone who's never lifted weights before, full bodies, or at least a minimum upper body, lower body.
At least, yeah. Do not go in there and isolate.
If you're going there to do arms, then you better be training 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and you better have proper nutrition. You understand exactly what you're doing.
Your buys and tries.
Even to this day, I still do not train arms now. No. After learning what I've learned, I would not go to the gym and just hit arms. And
I'll give them a couple of kills.
Yeah, of course, kills for the girls. Yeah. But you'd only go in there to do arms as more of an off day for us.
Yeah, of course.
When we want to have a break.
It's almost a recovery day. You go in there just because you still want to keep the habit up. But you shouldn't actually be training that day too much. So you go in there just to kind of...
So let's take someone who's never trained before.
Yeah.
Let's do an example here. So let's say a 25-year-old guy.
Yeah, he hasn't hit the gym before. Let's say he's around, a little bit of body fat, but he's not over. But he's looking probably for more muscle gain, strength gains and stuff like that.
Okay, so where do we start him?
All right, so we should start him, ideally, full body sessions.
Full body sessions, 100%.
I wouldn't go much more than 3 times a week to start. All right, you don't want to go in there full steam ahead and just kind of completely overtrain, just because your muscles are going to be sore as well. So you don't want to be going 5 days a week to start.
Yeah.
But 3 days of full body weight training will get you started.
Yeah, and then build a foundation. What you're trying to do when you first start is build a foundation so you can improve down the track, right? So by doing 3 full bodies, you're hitting each muscle group 3 days a week, which is fantastic.
Exactly right. Yep.
You could even do...
Which is more than most people would do down the track anyway.
Well, if you're doing bodybuilding splits, you're only hitting 1 muscle group per week.
Exactly. Which is going to take you much longer to
grow muscles. Doesn't make sense, does it?
So they get into the gym, first day, what should they do first? So say they're doing a full body session, obviously compound lift, yeah? So
It's if they understand.
obviously they're going to understand it. So it's really important, obviously, when you're doing compound lifts, that you know the technique. Do not go in there and chuck on weights onto a deadlift bar and just start lifting it unless you have a really good understanding for what muscles you're using and the correct techniques. You're going to hurt yourself up.
Not everyone wants to see a PT, but what I would recommend is definitely seeing someone who at least has an understanding of each compound.
Yeah.
Getting an understanding of how to do each compound will set you up with a really good base plan so that you can move forward, right? Once you know your compounds, then you can isolate off those. You can start doing like lat pull downs, and you can do a push, you can do a pull, you can do a legs movement. But if you've got your compounds down, you're already ahead of the game.
The other reason I think it's good to do that from the start, if you say you're not sure about how to do a deadlift or a squat, but you obviously can use a leg press, you can use a bench press and everything like that, you're going to get 7 or 8 weeks down the track and you're still going to be unsure about how to deadlift, how to squat, and you're probably not going to do it, which is a massive detriment to your training. So if you can implement that from the start, then you're going to have a really, really good foundation for the rest of the time.
Concentrating on full body strength 2 to 3 times a week is a good foundation of your resistance training, right? But then what about cardio? That's because this is the thing. We obviously, as men, tend to neglect it, right?
Yeah.
But there's an importance to have cardio there too for foundation. So things like,
for sure,
even something as a low to moderate walk once a week is a great addition
as a start. Yeah,
and then maybe 20 to 30 minutes of higher intensity to help improve, your heart rate and everything like that.
Ideally, you want to be getting all these elements into your training program. So you want to be getting a little bit of low intensity, a little bit of high intensity, depending on your goals. Obviously, it will change. And
the last thing you want is to be able to lift weights and then get so puffed. You have to have rests.
I'm guilty of that in the past, for sure.
By improving your cardio, you will improve your weights training.
100%, definitely.
And you lift heavier for longer with less rest in between.
That's the worst thing you could do. Go in there and try and have a high repetition set or something like that, and then you can't do it anymore because you're puffed out because your cardio is so bad.
Well, now we're speaking about men, right? But that exact same system there, what we just spoke about, is exactly the same as a female starting point. But for some random reason, we think, okay, male muscle gain, female fat loss, like is the stereotypes we have, which is why should a female start differently to that? They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
No, because the foundations are the same. And you look at the actual goal of what men are after, usually, yes, they want to gain muscle, but they want to get lean, right? Then you look at generally a female is saying, hey, I want to lose body fat, but they'll say, I want to look toned, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what is
Which
toning?
Means they want to build a little bit of muscle.
Toning is just the fucking definition of low body fat and high muscle, really.
Exactly.
That's what appears.
They say they don't want to build muscle because they're scared of putting on lots of muscle mass and being big. But realistically, they're just talking about toning up and putting some little bit of muscle mass on, which is going to happen with some strength training.
Most guys are talking about toning up just at a different extremity.
One of the biggest problems I find that females come to us for is they really don't understand how to use weights, which is the same as guys, but guys have a little bit more confidence heading into the weight section with other guys.
More ego.
So girls will tend to go into the gym and kind of just jump on the treadie for an hour and look for that weight loss. I mean, that's going to get you pretty aerobically fit.
And short-term results as well.
And short-term results, but your results are going to really plateau after a little while. You're definitely not going to get the long-term results you're looking for. You're going to be pretty fit. You're going to be pretty healthy.
Weights training is slow results, but long-term good for your metabolism and other things.
What can they do to get themselves into that section of the gym? Get them off the treadie into the weights.
It's the same principle. Having a good understanding of your compound lifts is still really important.
So you're saying just do some research or talk to a PT or...
It's exactly the same as it is for a guy. We're so sexist when it comes to how we prescribe exercise. And as PTs just tend to prescribe whatever they do for themselves. Right?
Yeah,
we're guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of that. So if I train in a certain way and a client asks how we train, most PTs will just train them the way that they train and expect that. But it's like the way that a male and female should train, their goals are so good. Goals are so different, but so similar, if that makes sense. So yes, one might be like, hey, I want to get thin and lose weight and be toned, blah, blah, blah. And one's, hey, I want to put on muscle. But their training regime may be very similar, but their food is going to be different, right? So like the food is where the tailor comes in. So like the foundation of having, no one should ever ignore the foundations, which is have a good amount of a resistance training, have some low to moderate cardio, and have a high intensity cardio program in there as well, right? If you're doing those 3 things, amazing. Then you can taper your food to suit your goals. I could do that exact program and I could put on muscle or I could lose body fat based on my food.
Your food, yeah.
Exactly.
So my advice for someone that's thinking about getting into the gym or whatever they're trying to do is do it from the start. Don't let it get 4 to 5 weeks down the track and you start kind of building up this I don't know, this kind of scared reaction to going down to the weight section. It'll just get worse and worse and worse. Just get in there. Just
Or
don't
do resistance at home first.
Yeah, or like jump on YouTube and watch a couple of videos, or give us a call. We'll be happy to have a chat with you.
Push, pull, legs, right? Understand how to do a push, understand how to do a pull, and understand how to do a leg movement. Build on those foundations at home. And once you can build on those foundations at home, now that may look like a push-up, a chin-up. And if you can't do chin-up, you can do assisted chin-up, whatever it is. And then a squat into a chair. Build on those foundations at home. Build yourself a little bit of confidence. Do that 2 or 3 days a week with maybe a run once a week or a walk. Then get yourself into a gym or a higher, resistance program. And then you've got a foundation to build on.
And I think something important for people just starting out into the gym is make sure you're tracking your progress. So if you're going in there and you're doing 3 sessions of full body and you're not sure, and you go the next week and you're not sure what you actually did last week, you're going to struggle to progress. So make sure you're just tracking your reps or tracking your weights, or at least writing some stuff down. So in the future you can actually program it properly.
It's also good for a bit of a motivation tool as well to come back and look at where you've changed.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, your results can be slow, and good results usually are slow, to be honest. But it can be demotivating seeing something small change very slowly. But then after 10 weeks, you can look back.
Depends how you look at it, really, doesn't it?
Well, the way I see it is, if it's changing slowly, it's changing for good. So then I find that a lot more motivating than changing quickly for a small amount of time. I've been in that sub 7% body fat, and it does not last. It's not maintainable. So like being at a point that's so low to your base point is not maintainable. So by changing your base point is going to put you and set you up for success.
And I don't know about you, but like say you're going to the gym and you're doing bench press or something like that, and you know that time where you know that you're getting stronger. You jump on the same weight as last week and you're pushing out the reps and you're like, wow, this is pretty light compared to it feels really good. Without tracking it, you won't really have that.
No, and then the problem is, if you don't track it as well, you'll go into the gym and you're feeling flat, so you will lift lighter, and you don't even realize you're lifting lighter,
or you lift exactly the same week in, week out.
Yeah, well, but then if you write it down and you go into the gym and you're struggling to lift the weight that you lifted last week, then something's wrong somewhere else. So you might be not getting enough sleep,
or you're just
hydration, or you're just being lazy. So now you can start ruling out these different factors. But if you didn't track it, you couldn't rule out those factors.
Exactly.
So takeaways from kind of this talk really is just that start yourself at something lower than what you think. Because starting at 6 to 7 days a week when you've never trained before is just ridiculous. No. So get that out of your head.
Everyone wants to I'm going to smash it, but just don't go in there with like this full head of steam and just ruin it.
It's like saying I want to make $1 million tomorrow, and then they go, how much have you made? And you're like, I've never made $1. Yeah. So maybe focus on making $100 first before trying to make $1 million. It's the same principle.
Working 100 hours in a week.
Focus on doing 2 to 3 days a week, solid, with good understanding. Move your way up. Yeah? Concentrate on your food. Obviously, focus everything on your food. But
now, if you're going to be hitting the weights, don't split routine. Don't do it. Do your research. Find out as much as possible about the lifts and about how to program. Talk to PTs. Talk to people that have been going to the gym for a long time. And just start yourself on a full body routine. Not split routine.
Nice. End of there.